Have you ever wondered how daily masturbation might be impacting your health, happiness, and relationships? You're not alone. In today's video, we delve into this often overlooked topic with insights from an experienced and compassionate medical professional. Why should you watch until the end? Because understanding the physical benefits and potential risks can empower you to make informed decisions about your well-being. We'll explore how this common habit affects your mind and body, uncover the psychological and relational impacts you might not have considered, and provide practical tips to help you maintain a healthy balance. Whether you're curious, concerned, or simply seeking to enhance your self-awareness, this conversation is essential for anyone looking to live a more balanced and fulfilling life. Stay with us as we navigate this sensitive subject with wisdom and care, ensuring you have the knowledge you need to thrive. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Curiosity about your body and personal habits is one of the most profound expressions of self-awareness and self-respect. It signals a willingness to explore what truly nurtures your well-being, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Embracing this curiosity is not just normal. It's essential for living a balanced and fulfilling life. This journey of self-discovery often includes questions about habits like masturbation, a topic that, despite its universality, remains cloaked in silence and stigma. Together, let's peel back the layers and talk openly, guided by the wisdom and expertise of an older male doctor who has spent decades helping people embrace healthier, more authentic lives. This isn't merely about science or medical facts. It's about creating a compassionate space where judgment has no place. It's about addressing the concerns, the silent questions, and even the quiet shame that many carry. If you've ever felt hesitant, embarrassed, or simply curious about this topic, know that you're not alone. Let's delve into this with openness and respect, uncovering truths that can help you feel empowered and understood. To start, let's understand the essence of masturbation. It is, at its core, a deeply natural and universal part of human life. Despite being a private act, it connects us all in its prevalence across age, gender, and culture. It's astonishing how something so ordinary can be so misunderstood. Consider this. A man in his late 50s might look back on his youth and remember the first time he encountered this habit. Without guidance or reassurance, he might have felt a mix of confusion and guilt. For years, those unanswered questions lingered in the corners of his mind. Does this story resonate with you? It's a shared experience, one that speaks to the silence society often imposes. But let's break that silence. Masturbation is not just natural, it's beneficial. It's a way to understand your body, release stress, and even foster emotional well-being. For many, it's a sanctuary of self-care, offering comfort during times of loneliness or physical distance from a partner. It's a healthy outlet, devoid of the risks associated with sexual intercourse, like infections or unintended consequences. Yet, its value extends far beyond the physical. It's a form of emotional and psychological release, a moment to connect with yourself on a deeper level. Think about the complexities of life as we age. Relationships evolve, our bodies change, and the demands of daily life often leave little room for intimacy, both with ourselves and others. For some, masturbation becomes a refuge, a moment of solace amidst the chaos. It's a way to reconnect with one's desires and emotions, a reminder that pleasure and self-love are vital at every stage of life. By speaking openly about this, we're not just normalizing a natural habit, we're reclaiming the narrative around self-care and intimacy. So, if you've ever felt isolated in your curiosity, remember that understanding yourself, your body, your mind, and your emotions is a courageous act. It's a step toward a life lived authentically, free from unnecessary shame or guilt. Let's continue this conversation with openness, compassion, and the knowledge that you deserve to explore and celebrate every aspect of who you are. Masturbation is a deeply personal topic that, for many, carries a complex mix of emotions, societal perceptions, and individual experiences. At its core, it's neither inherently good nor bad. It's simply a natural behavior. Its impact depends entirely on how it fits into your life and whether it enhances or detracts from your well-being. But when this practice becomes a daily habit or even more frequent, deeper questions inevitably arise. Is it still beneficial for your physical and emotional health? Could unintended consequences be lurking beneath the surface? And if so, how can these be addressed with care and compassion? As an experienced doctor might gently remind us, the first step toward truly understanding our bodies is to approach them with curiosity and respect rather than judgment. It's a beautiful and empowering journey to explore your physical needs and rhythms, especially as you age. Whether masturbation is an occasional indulgence or a more frequent habit, the goal should always be about balance. Because, as life so often teaches us, even the best things, when overdone, can lead to challenges. Let's take a moment to embrace the positives, as they are worth celebrating. Masturbation, when practiced in moderation, can offer profound physical and emotional benefits. For instance, the release of dopamine and oxytocin post-orgasm doesn't just feel good. It actively soothes the nervous system, promotes relaxation, and makes it easier to drift into peaceful, restorative sleep. And who doesn't cherish the gift of a good night's rest, especially as we grow older? It's also a proven stress reliever, giving your body a way to release the built-up tension of a long day. For men, masturbation encourages healthy blood flow, a cornerstone of sexual function and prostate health. For women, it's a gentle yet effective way to engage and strengthen the pelvic floor muscles, which are vital for reproductive and urinary health. And compared to other sexual activities, it comes with a comforting layer of safety. No worries about sexually transmitted infections or unexpected pregnancies. But, and this is where we tread carefully, what happens when this habit becomes excessive? This is the moment for reflection, not criticism. Let me share a story about a gentleman in his 60s who came to my clinic. He was hesitant, his voice tinged with embarrassment as he described persistent soreness and discomfort. He couldn't quite pinpoint the cause, but after some gentle probing, we discovered that frequent masturbation, combined with insufficient lubrication, had led to skin irritation. The solution was straightforward: better care, more awareness, and a reminder to treat his body with the tenderness it deserved. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. These moments are valuable reminders. Our bodies, like trusted companions, communicate with us in whispers long before they shout. Excessive masturbation can sometimes lead to physical issues like irritation or soreness, but it can also subtly affect mental health if it starts replacing meaningful connections or becoming a coping mechanism for deeper emotional struggles. As I reflect on these stories and the wisdom of countless patients over the years, one truth remains clear. The key to a fulfilling life is always moderation and self-awareness. Masturbation, like any other aspect of self-care, should empower you, not drain you. So, embrace this natural part of life with balance and curiosity, treating it as an opportunity to deepen your connection with yourself. Life is a delicate dance, and every step we take, be it toward pleasure, self-discovery, or balance, teaches us something new. Let's walk this path with grace and an open heart, knowing that the answers often lie within us, waiting to be uncovered. Desensitization is a delicate subject that can be difficult to face. Over time, repetitive and excessive stimulation might reduce sensitivity, which can quietly steal joy from other forms of sexual activity. Imagine feeling like the once vivid colors of your intimate moments have faded to shades of gray. This isn't to say that change is permanent. Far from it. It's often a temporary imbalance that your body can correct with rest and moderation. By taking a step back, allowing yourself the grace of time, and reducing frequency, you may rediscover the richness and depth of pleasure. Another layer to consider is energy. While reaching orgasm is typically associated with relaxation and a sense of release, frequent ejaculation, especially for men, can sometimes leave the body feeling drained rather than rejuvenated. Picture an overworked engine that just needs a chance to cool down and recharge. When you push too hard, you may end up feeling fatigued instead of fulfilled. This isn't a warning to avoid the experience, but rather an invitation to approach it with care and balance. The comforting truth is that the body is a resilient masterpiece. Even when signs of discomfort or fatigue arise, the solution is often as simple as scaling back, listening to your body, and giving it the rest it deserves. Think of your body as a finely tuned instrument. It performs its best when treated with respect and harmony. Like a wise teacher once said, "Your body whispers its needs before it screams." If you listen to the whispers, you'll never have to hear the screams. Beyond the physical aspects, the psychological impacts of frequent masturbation can be even more nuanced. Let's explore this with the story of Robert, a man in his late 50s who found himself navigating a new chapter in life after retirement. With more free time on his hands, he turned to masturbation as an occasional form of relaxation. At first, it felt harmless and even beneficial, a private indulgence that brought him comfort. But as the weeks stretched into months, Robert noticed a shift. Every time he felt a pang of boredom, stress, or loneliness, he unconsciously reached for this habit to fill the emotional void. What once was an act of joy and self-connection began to feel like a cycle he couldn't escape. This brings us to the first key psychological effect: stress relief versus dependency. In its purest form, masturbation can be a beautiful way to unwind, reconnect with your body, and even heal emotionally. Yet, when it becomes a default response to every ripple of anxiety or twinge of boredom, it risks morphing into an unhealthy crutch. Like relying on a bandage for a wound that requires deeper healing, this habit can mask the true source of discomfort while leaving emotional wounds unattended. Real relief comes from addressing the root causes of stress and finding balance in how we manage our inner struggles. Another psychological impact that often lurks in the shadows is shame and guilt. These feelings are born from years of societal taboos and cultural conditioning, particularly for those who grew up in an era when open discussions about sexuality were considered taboo. For many older adults, these ingrained attitudes create a heavy burden of embarrassment, even when engaging in a natural and healthy act. Let's be clear, shame is an unnecessary and harmful weight to carry. Masturbation is a fundamental part of human biology, and reframing it as such can help dismantle those feelings of guilt. Embrace the truth that your body and mind deserve compassion. By shedding the layers of shame, finding balance in your habits, and addressing the emotions that drive them, you can transform this aspect of your life into one of joy and self-discovery. After all, life is too short to spend it burdened by unnecessary guilt or unresolved patterns. Choose to nurture yourself with love and understanding. You deserve it. Then there's the challenging issue of pornography and the unrealistic expectations it can create. For many, frequent masturbation becomes deeply intertwined with excessive consumption of pornography. While seemingly harmless at first, this habit can gradually warp one's perceptions of intimacy. The hyper-stimulated scenarios portrayed online often paint an exaggerated, unattainable picture of what connection and physical closeness should look like. As a result, real-life relationships may begin to feel less fulfilling, as they fail to measure up to these fabricated ideals. Over time, this can silently chip away at one's confidence and ability to truly connect with a partner. It's as though the vibrant, colorful world of true human interaction gets dimmed by the artificial glow of a screen. How, then, can we approach this with a healthier mindset? The answer lies in cultivating self-awareness. Pause and ask yourself, am I engaging in this habit because it brings me joy and fulfillment, or is it simply a way to escape discomfort or boredom? Reflect on whether this habit enriches your life or subtly drains it of its richness. If you find it acting as a crutch, masking deeper feelings of emptiness or stress, it might be time to consider alternative ways to nourish your soul. Mindfulness practices, creative hobbies, or even meaningful social interactions can provide a more sustainable sense of relief and purpose. As one wise doctor once said, "Your habits don't just shape your day, they shape the person you become." It's crucial to choose habits that bring clarity and peace, not fleeting satisfaction that leaves you feeling empty afterward. As we delve deeper, let's explore the social and relational impacts of daily masturbation. Though it's an intensely personal act, it rarely exists in a vacuum. It influences how we engage with the people we love and the world around us. Take Paul, for instance, a man in his early 60s with a warm smile and a gentle presence. For over 30 years, he cherished the deep bond he shared with his wife. Their evenings were once filled with heartfelt conversations, shared laughter, and a comforting intimacy that strengthened their connection. But as time went on, Paul found himself retreating into his private habits. It wasn't something he consciously chose, but he began to replace those moments of connection with solitary time, indulging in his escape. Slowly but surely, the warmth of their shared space turned cool, and the emotional distance between them grew wider. This brings us to a profound truth about isolation. When solitary habits take precedence over shared experiences, the impact can be devastating, not only to the relationship but to one's sense of belonging. The act itself isn't inherently harmful, but when it becomes a default response to boredom, loneliness, or unresolved emotions, it's often a signal that something deeper needs attention. Another key issue is the erosion of intimacy in relationships. Sexual intimacy between partners is far more than a physical act. It's a profound emotional connection, a way of saying, "I see you, I value you, and I cherish this bond we share." When masturbation becomes a habitual substitute for that connection, it can leave a partner feeling neglected or emotionally sidelined. This isn't about assigning blame, but rather acknowledging a reality many couples face in silence. Over time, this growing gap can diminish trust, satisfaction, and the deep sense of partnership that anchors a loving relationship. Ultimately, the path forward isn't about guilt or judgment. It's about reflection, intentionality, and, above all, a commitment to reconnecting with what truly matters. Life is richer when we approach it with open hearts, willing to nurture the bonds that bring us closer to ourselves and others. Remember, intimacy thrives on shared vulnerability, honesty, and effort, things no screen or solitary habit can ever replace. One of the most challenging aspects of intimacy in relationships is navigating communication breakdowns, especially around sensitive topics like personal habits, including masturbation. These conversations often carry a weight of awkwardness, even embarrassment, and can feel taboo, particularly in long-term relationships where routines have solidified and unspoken boundaries have quietly emerged over time. Yet, avoiding such discussions can quietly erode the foundation of a relationship, creating space for misunderstandings, insecurities, and even resentment to grow unchecked. Imagine the pain one partner might feel if they sense the other withdrawing emotionally or physically, something that might be entirely unintentional but deeply hurtful. It's a silent gap that can leave a relationship feeling hollow, even if love still exists beneath the surface. So, how do you bridge this gap if it feels all too familiar? It starts with something simple yet profoundly courageous: honest communication. Relationships flourish not in the absence of flaws, but in the presence of understanding. If you're in a partnership, consider initiating a conversation with tenderness and curiosity, free of blame or judgment. Approach your partner with a mindset of discovery. What are their unspoken needs, fears, or hopes? Often, even the smallest gestures, like setting aside time to reconnect, sharing an activity, or expressing affection, can reignite the spark that first brought you together. Vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's a strength that builds trust and intimacy. For those navigating life as singles, the same principles of introspection apply. Are your habits unintentionally isolating you from opportunities for connection? It's worth asking whether time spent alone could instead be used to nurture friendships, strengthen family ties, or explore new passions that bring joy and purpose. Loneliness often feeds on the walls we build around ourselves. To combat it, consider extending a hand outward, call a friend, join a group, or take a class. As a wise mentor once said, connection isn't about perfection, it's about presence. Small steps, like showing up for others or even for yourself, can rebuild the bridges that lead to meaningful relationships. This brings us to an important reflection. When does a personal habit, like masturbation, shift from being a healthy expression of self to something that negatively impacts your life? Awareness is key here. Let me share the story of David, a 58-year-old man who unknowingly found himself caught in a cycle that began to consume more of his life than he ever intended. At first, he noticed he was spending more time alone, which seemed harmless enough. But gradually, that time began to chip away at his daily responsibilities. He started skipping his favorite hobbies, avoiding social events, and even delaying important work tasks. His habit, once a private and harmless escape, had quietly grown into a pattern of avoidance that affected not only his productivity but also his relationships. David felt trapped, aware something needed to change but unsure of how to begin. This story highlights an essential red flag. When a habit starts interfering with your responsibilities or relationships, it's time to reassess. A healthy habit should enhance your life, not detract from it. Balance is everything. If you find yourself in a similar situation, remember that recognizing the issue is the first step toward reclaiming control. Life is about growth, not perfection. Whether in love or self-discovery, the journey is made meaningful by the willingness to adapt, to face hard truths, and to embrace the changes that lead to a fuller, richer life. The second sign to watch for is when masturbation begins to overshadow meaningful relationships or cherished activities. Imagine saying no to a family dinner, skipping a joyful outing with friends, or neglecting hobbies that once brought you peace and fulfillment, all because this habit has crept in and taken precedence. It's a sobering realization to see how something meant to be private and natural can, over time, isolate rather than enrich. Life is built on moments shared, connections nurtured, and passions pursued, and letting go of these for the sake of a solitary habit can leave an emotional void that's hard to fill. Another critical warning sign is the loss of control. Ask yourself honestly, have you tried to cut back only to feel defeated by the inability to do so? That feeling of being stuck, of watching yourself repeat a pattern you long to change, can be both deeply frustrating and emotionally draining. It's as if your sense of autonomy, the ability to decide what's best for your mind and body, has been quietly stolen. And let's be clear, this isn't about shame, it's about reclaiming your freedom and choosing how you wish to live. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Equally important is the emotional toll. If your habits come with a shadow of shame, guilt, or distress, it's essential to pay attention. These heavy emotions don't just hover for a moment. They take root, eroding your self-esteem and gnawing at your mental well-being. It's painful to carry such a burden, especially when it feels like you're caught in a loop that you can't break. Yet, this pain is also a signal, a plea from within to pause and reassess. The truth is, recognizing these signs is not a weakness. It's an incredible act of courage and self-awareness. It's the first step in a journey of healing and self-compassion. If this resonates with you, know that reaching out to a counselor, therapist, or trusted medical professional is not admitting defeat, it's reclaiming your life. Asking for help is not a sign of failure. It's a declaration of your worth and your commitment to living a balanced, fulfilling life. As a wise, seasoned doctor might remind us, life's challenges often carry profound lessons. These conversations, though difficult, are gateways to growth. Decades of guiding individuals through struggles like these have taught such professionals the art of compassion and understanding. Their wisdom is light in moments of uncertainty, offering clarity, reassurance, and the gentle nudge needed to realign your habits with the vibrant, meaningful life you deserve. Dr. James, a wise and compassionate physician in his late 60s, often says that masturbation itself isn't the issue. It's the context, the mindset, and the patterns surrounding it that truly matter. With decades of experience helping patients navigate their health and emotional well-being, Dr. James believes that masturbation, when done in moderation, is a natural and even beneficial activity. However, he is quick to point out that when it becomes compulsive or entangled with unhealthy habits, such as excessive reliance on pornography, it can lead to unintended consequences that ripple through one's life. One of Dr. James's favorite ways to illustrate the concept of moderation is through a simple but vivid analogy. Imagine your favorite dessert, a slice of cake that brings you pure joy when savored on occasion. But if you devour the entire cake daily, that pleasure quickly turns into discomfort, guilt, and even harm. It's all about balance, knowing when to indulge and when to step back. This metaphor not only simplifies the idea but also resonates deeply with his patients, reminding them that even something inherently good can lose its value when taken to excess. Dr. James also takes time to address the many myths and misconceptions about masturbation, particularly for those who are aging. He understands that some individuals worry it might sap their energy, diminish their vitality, or even shorten their lifespan. With a reassuring tone, he dispels these fears, emphasizing the resilience of the human body. Your body is remarkable, he says, and when treated with care and respect, it won't falter because of a natural activity like masturbation. He adds that even daily masturbation, when it aligns with a balanced lifestyle, is unlikely to cause any harm. Hearing this from a seasoned physician often brings a wave of relief to those burdened by unfounded anxieties. However, Dr. James doesn't shy away from the more complex discussions surrounding the link between masturbation and pornography. With empathy and insight, he explains that excessive pornography consumption can skew perceptions of intimacy, creating unrealistic standards that may undermine real-life relationships. It's not about shaming or judging anyone, he says gently, but about helping people recognize when something is interfering with their ability to connect authentically with themselves and others. He often encourages patients to pause and reflect on what intimacy truly means to them, beyond the fleeting gratification of a screen. Another critical point Dr. James frequently raises is the importance of listening to your body and taking breaks when needed. He acknowledges that constant stimulation can sometimes lead to desensitization, leaving individuals feeling disconnected or unfulfilled. But here's the good news, he shares with a knowing smile. Your body is incredibly forgiving. Taking a short break, a few days or weeks, can help you reset and rediscover what brings you joy and satisfaction. It's like giving your mind and body a chance to breathe. What truly sets Dr. James apart, though, is his holistic approach to well-being. He doesn't merely focus on the act itself, but encourages his patients to think deeply about their habits and how they align with their values. Healthy living isn't just about avoiding harm, he says. It's about making choices that enrich your life, that bring you closer to the person you want to be. He invites everyone to ask themselves, does this habit serve my well-being? Is it helping me grow, feel connected, and live authentically? If the answer is no, he advises seeking support or making changes without hesitation or shame. The wisdom of Dr. James can be summed up in one powerful takeaway. Masturbation is not the enemy. When approached with mindfulness and balance, it can be a natural and healthy part of self-care, offering physical and emotional relief in a world often filled with stress and tension. Yet, like all things, it's most meaningful when it fits harmoniously into the broader picture of a life well lived. To illustrate this further, let me share the story of John, a man in his late 60s who came to a similar realization. For years, John struggled with feelings of guilt and confusion about his habits. But with guidance and a willingness to reflect, he discovered how to integrate them into his life in a way that felt authentic and empowering. His journey reminds us that it's never too late to grow, change, and find a path that honors both your body and your soul. For years, John found himself caught in the suffocating embrace of a routine that felt both familiar and draining. Each evening unfolded like a predictable script, dominated by habits that had become a crutch more than a source of joy. It wasn't that John despised these rituals, they brought him fleeting comfort, but deep down, he felt a quiet exhaustion, both physically and emotionally. It was as if life had become a narrow hallway with no doors to new possibilities. Then one evening, as he stared at the same four walls, he made a decision that would change everything. "I'm not giving this up entirely, but I'm going to make it just one piece of my life, not the whole story. I deserve more than this." The first step was deceptively simple but deeply empowering. John set limits. He began to track how often he indulged in this habit and realized how it overshadowed other areas of his life. With a mindful approach, he made small adjustments, not to deprive himself but to regain balance. It wasn't about quitting or shaming himself. It was about reclaiming his evenings for something more meaningful. This act of mindfulness was like opening a window in that narrow hallway, letting in fresh air and the possibility of change. John then turned his attention to the parts of his life he had neglected. He dusted off old passions that had been sitting dormant, like neglected treasures waiting to be rediscovered. Gardening became a meditation, woodworking an outlet for creativity, and his daily walks in the park a source of peace. The rhythmic crunch of gravel underfoot, the earthy smell of soil, the satisfaction of creating something tangible with his hands, all these experiences reawakened a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Physical activity, he discovered, wasn't just good for his body. It was a balm for his mind, a shield against the restlessness that had once driven him to rely on his old habits. Perhaps the most transformative change was in his relationships. John realized that connection, a real, heartfelt connection, was a cornerstone of happiness he had been neglecting. He made a point to call old friends, sharing stories and laughter that reignited bonds thought lost to time. He spent long afternoons with his grandchildren, marveling at their unfiltered joy and boundless curiosity. And with his wife, he planned date nights that rekindled the spark they had once shared, rediscovering the quiet intimacy that comes from truly seeing and valuing one another. These moments filled a void he hadn't even known was there, reminding him that life's richest pleasures often come from sharing it with others. As part of his journey, John also sought knowledge. He delved into resources about sexual health and mindfulness, discovering that occasional breaks from masturbation could restore sensitivity and bring a deeper sense of pleasure. Instead of seeing this as a loss, he embraced it as a way to keep his experiences fresh and intentional. It wasn't about judgment. It was about understanding himself better and making choices that enriched his life. Through this journey, John learned a profound truth. Balance doesn't mean denying yourself joy. It means weaving your habits into a broader tapestry of experiences that nourish your soul. It's about ensuring that no single aspect of life overshadows the beauty of the whole. His story is a reminder that even the smallest steps, setting limits, exploring forgotten passions, or reaching out to loved ones, can transform your life in ways you never imagined. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Let Jons Story inspire you to reflect on your habits and routines. Are they serving you, or have they become a cage of comfort? Take a moment to ask yourself what changes, however small, might bring you closer to the life you deserve. Balance, harmony, and joy are within reach, one intentional step at a time. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress and rediscovering the vibrant possibilities that life still holds. Let's recap some key takeaways. Masturbation is a profoundly personal and natural aspect of human sexuality, one that bridges the gap between physical needs and emotional well-being. It offers undeniable benefits, such as easing the weight of stress, enhancing the quality of sleep, and promoting a healthier sexual relationship with yourself and others. It's a gift from nature, a reminder that self-love and self-care begin within. However, like any habit, beauty lies in balance and awareness. When embraced with moderation and mindfulness, it becomes a nurturing part of your self-care routine, a way to reconnect with your body and emotions. Yet, when it tips into excess, interfering with your responsibilities, your cherished relationships, or your emotional equilibrium, it's an opportunity to pause and recalibrate. It's important to recognize that noticing signs of imbalance, whether it's dependency, feelings of isolation, or a persistent sense of guilt, should never spiral into self-judgment. These moments of realization aren't about finding fault with yourself. Instead, They're about gaining clarity on where you are and courageously envisioning where you'd like to be. Growth begins with understanding, not condemnation. Beyond this, integrating this intimate habit into a life filled with variety and purpose is essential. Life's richness is found in its diversity. In hobbies that ignite your passions, in relationships that bring depth to your days, and in moments of connection that remind you of your humanity. By setting thoughtful limits and creating space for new experiences, you ensure that your habits serve your greater good rather than quietly taking the reins. And perhaps most importantly, remember there is no shame in seeking help or guidance if you ever feel overwhelmed. Asking for support is not a sign of weakness but of immense bravery. It is a declaration that you are choosing to live with intention and to honor the life you deserve. Embrace the journey of self-discovery, for it is in these choices that true fulfillment lies. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect together. What stood out to you the most? What resonated with your journey or gave you a new perspective? Think about one thing you've learned today that you can carry forward and put into practice in your own life. We'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights not only inspire us, but also create a community where we can all learn and grow together. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below and let us know what you found valuable. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Together, we're building a space of understanding, growth, and support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.